Okay, so I'm going to go through this with you hardcore folks who stayed on. Just you can. This is going to be on our site in a couple of formats. So it just watching the yellow markings here, we've learned recently that it may allow up to 10 units because of the loophole found by Dan Carrig at the Rennie Group. It's a large entity of lobbyists and lawyers. It goes on all the way through. It does allow for multiple homes on single family lots in the coastal zone. That's the bottom. You can see the very bottom one. I'm just going to slide through these. So I'm just going to give everybody a chance to look at that, and then I'm moving to the next one. It was sold as a duplex bill, and it's still being sold that way. That's a real problem. We have to overcome that. We have to overcome this meme about duplex. It's got nothing to do with that, as you've learned today. This explains the 3 scenarios. It's also on our website, how that would work. We still don't know how the 10 units would work because we don't know exactly what the loophole is, but we will learn that this week. This is what it looks like if you have 4. If you just do 4, remember Jeff Calvin's cool drawings. This is 4 units in Redondo Beach that were allowed in the 70s, called the tall and skinnies. Imagine doubling that. That's what it does on a single family lot. The media, what's going on? Here are the headlines from last year, and we're expecting, and we're getting more of the same this year. They are not moving on to reality. They're sticking with duplex coverage, which is not true. All of them. The most recent was the New York Times. Ezra Klein, a very sophisticated journalist, called it a modest duplex bill. So we have a very I don't know what to call it, a very unaware media. The second bill, revived from 2020, is SB 10, identical to SB 902. It undoes our 100-year right to the voter initiative on issues where the voters have approved protection of land. A simple majority on any city council can undo the vote. This is unheard of. It's absolutely unheard of. It lets city councils allow 10 units. This is, by the way, this is an empowerment of city councils to do these things. This is not a state mandate. The cities decide if they want to do this. It lets them build 10-unit market rate projects almost everywhere. If you look at the yellow down here, urban infill, jobs rich and transit rich takes in almost all communities. It's vast. These definitions sound very precise. Jobs rich is one of the least precise of all. It's wide open for the state to decide what it means. We had a really amazing guy on our last teleconference, Patrick Condon of University of British Columbia. For years, look at the yellow, he was a backer of widespread upzoning in Vancouver. It didn't work. Housing prices never went down. Vancouver is years ahead of California in this experiment, and it went wrong. It doesn't work. It just causes extremely high land costs, and that drives up all of the housing costs, and they didn't get any affordable housing out of their massive upzoning in Vancouver. And you can see his quote. He actually responds to this attack, this NIMBY meme, and he says it's not the NIMBYs that are the problem, it's the global increase in land value in urban areas. And that is driven heavily by the upzoning. So they're essentially going in the wrong direction, the exact wrong direction under Scott Wiener right now. And then to bring in the some of the information from Embarcadero Institute, we're underbuilding affordable housing and overbuilding market rate. If you look at the bar on the left side, that little tiny aqua square is how much very low income and low income we've been building under current, all these massive numbers of state bills. And what we really were supposed to build is that giant lime thing surrounding the little tiny aqua square. Now, if you look over at the right hand, you see that really tall aqua tower. That's how much market rate has been built in California. And the goal that cities were given is the shorter Lime Tower, almost identical to the very low income tower. And so you can see cities aren't stopping any affordable housing. They don't have any money. They approve what comes before them. So when Gavin Newsom and others blame the cities for not approving enough, it's a really strange thing to say. It's a very odd thing to say. Cities are following state law and they don't have any money. So they're in a lose-lose situation with the state. And here's what happened after Jerry Brown defunded affordable housing. The Lime plunge at 2011. You'll see the plunge from where it used to be, and it never recovered. That little spike there in 2018 was something that voters agreed to do, so bond measures. And then if you look at the state income tax revenue during that time, California was getting richer and richer before the crash, or excuse me, before the pandemic, and they didn't put the money back. And that's where virtually, I think we believe in Livable California, that's where all of the problems stem from. They never put the money back. And this, of course, is a hit on the environment in huge ways that have been described today. Urban tree canopies will be wiped out by these two bills. Destroying yards, they pave over that permeable soil. You've got vast runoff. It's something that nobody would put into a general plan, this idea of SB 9 and SB 10. It wipes out the defensible space between the buildings that are in, not just in the traditional fire hazard zones, but in all of the new burn zones that are far outside of the traditional hazard zones, where it burned down to the ocean in the last few years. It jumped over the freeways, which used to be a very reliable way of stopping a fire. The fires are well outside of the severe fire zones. And so now we're going to get rid of the defensible space between single family neighborhoods. And then finally, there is no state that's considering anything remotely like SB 9. California already allows duplexes because of its granny flat laws. Oregon is following us this year with a duplex bill that went effective just a few weeks ago. They haven't actually started their duplex construction in Oregon. Nobody, no state has gone off the cliff with this idea. It's just the experimental level of it is really shocking. And if you hear anybody citing how well it's going in Oregon, it's been a law in Oregon for about 5 weeks. It doesn't exist yet. It's not happening yet. We think duplexes will probably work okay because ADUs seem to be working okay. This doubles down on all of that, triples down on it, quadruples down on it. So it makes no real sense except if you have a lot of money and you plan to invest and take over a single family neighborhood. So that's just a super quick version. Ran right through it. I just wanted you to see it, just in case you want some of that information.